Wherever climate skeptic Lord Christopher Monckton of Brenchley goes, it seems controversy is hanging off his coattails. During the Australian leg of his climate speaking tour, Monckton compared an Australian government climate change advisor to Adolf Hitler and ran images of a swastika next to his report. But for those who don't believe in climate change, Monckton is one of the finest minds on the planet. But for those who believe greenhouse gas emissions are heating the planet and that we need to address it, he's a fraud. In Auckland this week, we asked Christopher Monckton for his take on climate change.
In the economic peer-reviewed literature, the near unanimous consensus is that it is more cost-effective to do nothing now. Spend not a cent. Don't have an ETS, don't have taxes to do with green things, don't subsidise windmills, don't do anything. Instead, sit back and enjoy the sunshine.
Christopher Monckton says the world's top body on global warming, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, is flawed. But while Monckton was happy to talk about his views on climate change, he wasn't so happy talking about the importance of peer-reviewed science.
Scientists, they deal in peer-reviewed reports. That's the sort of basic foundation of science.
Let me stop you there.
People look over other scientists' work.
Let me stop you there.
It's reviewed by independent people.
Let's stop you there.
If you're a dairy farmer, you're trading in milk. If you're a sheep farmer, you trade in meat and wool. But for scientists, they trade in a different commodity altogether. It's called peer-reviewed journals. For a scientist, being published in a peer-reviewed journal means that their work has been accepted by independent experts in their field. So it may come as some surprise to viewers that Lord Monckton has never had anything published in a peer-reviewed journal at all.
While most believe the peer review process is an invaluable checks and balances system for science, Christopher Monckton says the process is shonky.
The idea that there is some sort of consensus among thousands of scientists, when only a few dozen have even studied to the point of publication, the central question in the debate, is feeble-minded in the extreme.
But if he didn't like talking about peer-reviewed science, he simply hates discussing John Abraham.
Because people like you keep saying, oh, Professor Abraham this, Professor Abraham that.
John Abraham is an associate professor at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, who watched one of Monckton's presentations and couldn't believe the conclusions he was drawing from the science he was referencing. So Abraham set about contacting the scientists he had referenced, and he told Country 99 TV he got back a common response.
But every single scientist wrote back to me saying that he had misinterpreted their work.
But in fact, they didn't just say he was wrong. They said things like this.
ENSO has a timescale of 3 to 8 years, and limiting any trend analysis for this region is a clear demonstration of a total lack of understanding of the ocean dynamics. Unless one is ignorant, crazy, or has an agenda, one wouldn't pick one proxy record from one location on Earth and say it represents global climate.
But Monckton says the scientists were all led astray by Abraham, who tricked them into believing he had said things which he hadn't.
I'd given him 80 pages of refutation, including example after example after example after example of him lying to third-party scientists about what I'd said, then getting understandably hostile comments back saying, oh, he said that, he's talking nonsense, and then using those statements by the scientists against me.
So you don't think that these scientists, the guys who spend their lives researching things,
well, those
would have done some independent inquiries and looked into your presentations themselves?
No,
I mean,
they
easy
didn't.
Enough to
They
watch.
didn't. They thought
they all
they
got
could
the
rely.
wrong end of the stick.
They thought they could. No, they were given lies by Professor Abraham. That's what it was. He is about to face not a criminal prosecution, it's called a libel trial.
But these scientists weren't saying, the scientists Abraham, who replied to Abraham, they weren't saying that you just misinterpreted something or got something a little bit wrong. They were saying that you got things completely back to front, that you didn't
just
understand
a moment. Look,
the basic
have you not
science.
understood a word of what I've just said to you? For God's sake, concentrate, man, and just listen. What they were commenting on was not what I had said. And I've said that 4 times now, and I'm not going to say, if you want this interview to continue, you must listen to what I say.
Professor Abraham categorically denies he misled any scientists and invited Country 99 TV viewers to check out his presentation for themselves.
Now off you go.
Benedict Collins, Country 99 TV News.